All right, I figure you guys take a peek at this in the morning. Jeff always wants to look at them the next day and see if they're still shiny. The crazy dog's back. This dog's name's Missy. Lives like 3 doors down. And it's rather live here, huh? Yeah, you'd rather live here. Okay, okay. So anyway, it's looking really good. Came out really nice. I love single stage, man. Like Yukon Ron said, I used to paint a lot of Amber Flints and Emerald jobs, even metallics, and I always think about going back to those kind of paints because it's just a totally different look. It's almost a synthetic look and shine opposed to you know, a cut and buff look. But yeah, that thing looks really killer. I had somebody ask about this air system, fresh air system. It's just a 3M hood. 3M hood, and it's got a sock in there that goes around your neck and pumps fresh air in from this box out here. It's a Clayton unit. It's a four-stage, give me a minute here, it's early. Turbine, you know, for painting on the bottom there, and then it has the fresh air system on the top. It's got a HEPA filter on the side here that you can change, and basically it just pulls fresh air from wherever you set it. So you know, you got a bunch of smokers in the shop. You know, a lot of guys like to blow cigarette smoke in them while you're in there painting, or fart in it, you know, so you got to be careful, you know, where you use these. This is something you guys don't know out there. A lot of you guys, even a lot of my friends that paint. I'm gonna go ahead and spill it out there because this is what this is fact. The little charcoal filters, the 3M masks that we all like to use, these here. These they're good for 40 hours. As Angel said, that's if you keep them in a bag, free from the environment. If you work at a shop, guys, by law, they're required to supply you with a fresh air system. It's the only thing that's OSHA approved. I learned that when I went to EPA class. You got to have it, dude. If you're a shop owner, you got to provide your workers with a fresh air. It's the only thing that filters that gives you fresh air. You're filtering chemicals through a charcoal filter with these. You're still bringing in the paint fumes and stuff. It is filtered down, yes, but I can tell you when I use the spray box there and use the hood, it is a little more cumbersome, but I'm not fatigued. I don't get the, you know, you get beat from painting cars, and it's the chemicals that do it to you. So anytime you can get your hands on a fresh air system, I think they, without the turbine unit, I think they start in like 369, 469 range. A lot of guys will mount them up top of the booth. You know, they'll put them up high. That's what that plug is for up there. And I'll probably buy a fresh air system and put in this booth eventually. There's a couple companies that make decent ones. This one just is a combo. So it's what I have. I used for now. My hose blew out last night, so I need to get another hose. But and then the epoxy primer came up last night again to etch or not to etch. Well, guys, you know, again, you got to refer back to the manual on the product that you're using. I know in Matrix there's a little asterisk by it, and it requires, you know, it says that it's recommended that you etch prime it prior to epoxy priming. You know, they want to etch before they go onto the bare steel. I know that Pete will tell everybody that that stuff sticks to everything, and that's just not the case, guys. It'll stick to everything until it doesn't stick to something, and that something will be something that you painted. And the only reason that it hasn't happened to you yet is because you guys aren't painting a lot of cars. You know, you're doing 1 or 2 cars in your garage, and perhaps you have good luck at the time, but there's going to be a time where that lets you down. You know, each one of these cans represents a car that's been painted, and you get a lot of experience doing a lot of cars, and you see a lot of stuff. You get to see a lot of failures, or like Pisser says, you know, when you paint enough cars, you always come across an issue because it's a chemical process, you know. Anytime it's a chemical process, you're setting yourself up for failure. But I always like to etch prime because it's a chemical process with the steel, and it's not a mechanical bite like epoxy primer is. Epoxy primer requires an 80 grit scratch. So if you're doing an area where you've sanded it smoother than 80 grit, and you can have an adhesion issue. It will stick to Bondo, you know, but you can't have issues if you get plastic too smooth with epoxy sticking too. I always just like to use the etch. I'll do all my body work over epoxy. You know, I do use the epoxy, but I use it over the etch. Somebody had mentioned that the etch can't be wiped off and can't be sandblasted off. It can be sandblasted off. You can sandblast the etch process off if you blast the metal, and if you wipe it off, what happens is you remove the primer part, the brown part, but the steel is still etched. When I used to work at the body shop, we'd brush that stuff in all our weld areas, and when it go up to the paint shop, they'd wipe it off, and then they'd epoxy primer over it. But the steel's still etched. The chemical process is still taking process. You know, the acid. The acid's what etches the steel, until it gives you the bite. So I prefer the the etch process first. I always refer to the manual. And the manual usually won't come right out and say, hey, you know, you need to etch prime this first. It'll have a little asterisk or a star at the end of the bare metal section, and you have to read your footnotes. That's my experience. It's just an extra step of insurance, and it's too far down in the process to miss a step, you know. Man, you know, that's not the place you want to have a failure, is at the, you know, at the surface. That's like the foundation of your house failing after you've built everything. So that's my thought process on that. And Greg, as far as your wheels, man, I think Slow SRT must have read my email to you, because that's pretty much what I said verbatim. The base coat, clear coat's fine. The heat is not going to be an issue. If the heat comes off, I'll warranty the paint and the clear. If you use Matrix, I've used PPG, and you won't have an issue. The wheel doesn't get hot enough, or the tire would melt before the paint failed. The other thing is we don't, you know, advertise it a lot, or I don't even know if it's in the book, but we have Nano Clear, and it's expensive. It's $100, $200 for a quart, but it won't scratch. It's impervious to any chemicals, brake fluid. Will not scratch, and it's self-healing if you scratch it. You have to, you know, the chemical process there is pretty involved, and the words get pretty big. So if you guys want to, you know, research Nano Clear, you know, look it up. A couple different companies have it. They use some chemical process out of shellfish, and you can actually scratch it, and it'll actually fill the scratch in by itself. It's pretty cool stuff. A lot of the motorcycle guys use it, but it's terribly expensive, and it's like a rock, man. If you don't get it on there just right, and you know, get it cut and buffed right away, it's impossible once it cures. So yeah, I think I answered some questions, and I saw the thumbs down guys doing good, so glad to see you're all right. Yeah, we'll get that flipped over and go to the other side. These spring plates look really crappy, but Scooter said he's got some new ones, so I just put some black paint on those anyway. But yeah, when everybody wakes up, we'll flip this. It's freezing cold in Florida this morning. Look at that. Ooh. My thermometer can't handle that, you know, low temperature. If it gets much colder, I don't know what I'm going to do. I gave my PPG thermometer to HPR because it went down to 0. I didn't figure I'd need that here, but yeah, man, we're in the cold weather now, so it's definitely Christmas time here. All right, little sticker shame there, Fisser. Rob, hey, what's going on, Jeff? Little paint pimp. And then we got Cecil on the backside over here. Gotta go around. So there you go. So yeah, I'm gonna get those stickers cut. So if you guys want a sticker, you know, drop me your address and we'll get you one out. They're a little dark, but they're sort of cool. It's a start. I got an idea for a YouTube shirt for the Garage Gang. You know, but as the gang gets bigger and bigger, you know, you don't want to leave anybody out. So I was going to talk to my cousin, because he's a graphic artist, and maybe have him design something up. And if he can't do it, I was maybe going to talk to Greg and see if he could do something and to make a YouTube Garage Gang t-shirt. So I sort of have the idea in my head to include everybody on the shirt, you know, make it look cool. And yeah, so, you know, I know that I looked at my subscriber page today, and holy crap, man, almost 300 subscribers, 296. So I never thought I'd have that many subscribers. And although I got 296 subscribers, I know all you guys don't work on cars, and you know, but the guys that do and the guys that interact on the page, I want to include you on the shirt. So you know, I forget people all the time. I know I forgot Special Spellcaster at Christmas, and I'm sorry about that, because you know, you do watch my page all the time. And I forgot the guy, and I forgot Mike 86 Camaro, Mikey there, I mean Woodzo, all you guys that you know, you show up on the page every once in a while, but you don't do a lot of videos, I guess, you know. And I'd like to see more from you guys for sure, but you guys are definitely part of the you know, experience for me. So, you know, I want to get everybody on there. So yeah, making a list and checking it twice kind of thing. So yeah, when I saw Ziggy's video, man, you think that guy, I guess he didn't check installed height on that spring setup, huh? Wow. So